Well, good afternoon, everybody. That's my new theme song. Thank you to Mr. Bangtown Production himself, Arlon Randall. Hear those sirens, Johnny?
That sounded great.
I love that theme. I love it. How you doing back there?
Pretty good.
Today is a pretty good day. I'm feeling it.
Definitely brighter than it was yesterday. It was clear yesterday.
Oh, I mean. Well, today I want to welcome my guest, Miss Carrie Miller from Our Home Transitional, and her guest, Natasha. So it's been a while since you've been in to see me. When we first met, you were just getting off the ground.
Yes, ma'am.
And so now you like doing the thing.
Yeah, it'll be 2 years in February since the organization was founded. Mm-hmm. We've got everything put into place, all of our programming. We have helped 8 veterans, single female veterans so far this year. One of our clients here is Natasha. We have another one, Lori. We put her and her kids in her own home as well and got her into college, her first time in school, and she's getting 3.5 to 4.0 in all her classes.
Wow.
Yeah, very excited about that.
Mm-hmm. You like a mama hen.
Yes, I've always been like that.
Proud
Absolutely.
of your kids.
I love them all to death, the great people. And I am so blessed to be able to do this kind of work, and it's, as we talked about before, been a dream of mine since I was a kid. If you go to our website at www.ourhometransitional.org, click on the About Us tab, there's a video there that kind of gives the story of how and why I started this, and it's kind of moving. I had one of our volunteers put it together for me as a surprise, and so when I first viewed it, it made me cry and gave me goosebumps. But I'll leave that up to you guys to check out.
Everybody can check it out on their own dime. So now the program, like you said, has been going on good for 2 years. You've gotten so many female veterans. What's one of the hardest problems that you've run into since having the program? I know the government gives everybody hell.
Yeah, mostly is getting funding. Due to the sequestration cuts for 2013, our organization was not eligible for any federal grants since we are a new veteran service org, and that was one of the requirements. In order to receive funds this year, you had to have received funds from them in the past. Mm-hmm. We're hoping that changes for 2014, but there are a lot of other funding opportunities available through like Chase Bank and the Newman Foundation and so on, and I've been trying to apply for those as well. Not being a grant writer myself, I have been getting help from other grant people with experience writing grants. Mm-hmm. So that's been a great help. So primarily it's the funding. That's really, we've been funding this pretty much out of our pockets. We've gotten a couple of one small grant. Best Project did provide us with $5,000 grant that helped us pay for our strategic planner. Okay. So our strategic plan will be in place before the end of the year, and then we'll be bringing in a financial management consultant through that grant. And then after that, we are eligible for the $10,000 grant through BEST to continue more capacity building and putting together our principles and practices based on Michigan Nonprofit Association's Principle and Practices booklet.
You have to go through a lot of training to get to this point. So if somebody wants to just pop up and do a program like this, I mean, what kind of advice would you give them? There's a National Coalition for Homeless Veterans website, and you can go there, and there's a tab to click on
how to start a new veteran service org, and that gives you a lot of information. I happened to find that after I had been in business for over a year.
Right.
But I do give that to people when they ask me, how to start something. Also, if you check with your local small business technological development center or score.org, they're very helpful as well. If you're in Genesee County, the best project, it's capital B, capital E, capital S, capital T. They're at bestprojectonline.org. Excuse me. They can help you with everything. They're a nonprofit that helps nonprofits start. And I actually, this Friday will be our last class, but it was a year-long course, the Best Nonprofit Leadership Institute.
Oh, okay.
To help me grow as a nonprofit leader in the community. It's been very moving, inspirational, uplifting. I've learned a great deal through that. Kettering offered a couple of startup business courses as well. One was a 5-week course, and the next one I went to was an 8-week course. And I've gotten a lot of help through all those different avenues.
So now, where do you get your clients?
Well, throughout the community, some are referrals from other homeless shelter agencies throughout the area. Some come from the VA in Ann Arbor, Detroit, or Saginaw. That's primarily where we get them. We do a lot of marketing to get our name out there, but female veterans are really hard to find. They stay hidden pretty well, and they often don't seek out the help that they need. A couple of the main reasons are, if they've got kids and they go to, get help and they're homeless, they're afraid that their kids might be taken away, and that's very real. That does happen. And also, if they indicate that they're a veteran, they're afraid that they may just be told to go to the VA for help, which they might have already done and just, couldn't get the help that they needed.
And they seem to help the males more than they help the females.
They are changing that. They're making a real concerted effort to, do what needs to be done for the homeless female veterans. But it's kind of women have always been in the military, but, the government's kind of looking at it as a new thing. And, the government takes a decade or two before they can catch up to what's going on. So they're not even caught up with, internet crimes yet. But, some of them, a couple, like Natasha, I believe. How did you find out about us?
I was referred by a homeless shelter. Actually, I didn't even know anything about our hometown transitional. I went to a homeless shelter to get help, and they told me that, there was a waiting list to even get into the shelter.
Now, how does that happen?
There's a lot of homeless people in Genesee County.
I know, but I wouldn't imagine they could have a waiting list.
Yes.
Because they spin them out every 30 days or whatever?
It depends on the shelter and their program.
And their finances. It's hard to take in people and help them if you don't have the money to do so. It's okay to fill up a big building, with lots of apartments, but if you can't keep the water on and you can't keep the heat on and you can't feed these people, they're basically homeless still. So it's a big transition coming from, being able to not worry about how you're going to eat and where you're going to live because the government will take care of that. And then you go out into the real world and it's now your responsibility.
And that's what I don't understand about the military. I know a lot of people that have been in the military have come out and gotten jobs and, kept on going. And then you have people like you that come out and you need the help and then there's no help. Well, I don't understand how that happens.
What my biggest issue is, with the situation, I'm not saying that there are not programs in place to help the veterans. But what I'm saying is the criteria to meet, to get the help from these veterans, they make it almost impossible. It's like you have a bank that's willing to loan any and everybody money. That's what they say until you go in and then you get this list of things that you need to qualify for in order to even be considered or you get there and you meet this criteria, and then you have a situation where they say, well, okay, she's a veteran, she's homeless, she's homeless. Oh, wait a minute.
This one's got kids.
This one's got kids.
So that one gets first.
Yes.
That one gets it first. And it's not fair. I mean, I commend those people who can actually, do this all with their children. But, being homeless and with kids, that's almost suicide.
Yeah.
So, and then you tell me, I have to have kids for you to help. Maybe.
Right.
You're gonna help.
Let me go down the street and find me some kids.
Right. And maybe you'll help me. I can't take that big maybe chance.
Yeah. And that's sometimes what make people like do criminal acts where, like I said, go down the street, grab some kids and be like, I'm responsible for my nieces and nephews,
Clearly.
and try to come up with a way to fit in.
And then, it's always this thing of you being in the military, so people think you're so super strong, or, that you have it all together because you were in the Army. The Army is just another job.
Right.
You can't, you can't leave it to your children. You basically, they use you and you use them.
Right.
And when it's done, it's done. It's like a relationship.
Yeah.
It's over.
A bad divorce.
Right. So, we get attached to the military because when you're in, you're taken care of to a certain degree.
Right.
You're sheltered from a lot of things, and
they pay all your bills.
Right.
They give you money in your pocket.
Right. It cripples you.
So why is it that when you get out, they don't have like a big severance package? Like you put 20 years in.
Oh, they do. It's called retirement.
If you get 20
you get 20. But if you get less than that, you got to get a job.
You're on your own. Hopefully, you'll find another government job that will take your time, and then you can retire from there. But,
right.
You go in and you do your obligated 8 years.
Right.
And you just gave them 8 years.
So they didn't. If you didn't want to re-enlist, do they offer you jobs or anything, or did they just kick you to the curb and be like, next?
Well, basically, they, like I said, they cover their butts. So they have these programs put in place where...
But you just don't fit into it.
Right. Well, we'll help you find a job. And then you get into the program and they tell you, okay, well, here's a computer and here's a list. And now
you got to go search it out on your own.
Now, once you searched it all out and you put in your applications, okay, we did what we were supposed to do.
Yeah, it's like some of the job programs for everyday people.
Right. And
you
unfortunately, I was a person who came out of the military overseas, which had there been some kind of guidance counselor or anybody to say, wait a minute, now you need to re-enlist long enough to get back to the United States, get your feet in the ground, some contacts, network with people, and then transition out of the military. But no, it was like, okay, you don't want to re-enlist? Okay, fine. It's time for you to go. And by the way,
there's no
in
money.
1998, 1997, and 1996, you did this. Now, mind you, it's 2005.
Right.
You did all this stuff back then. So guess what? We're going to give you a general under honorable conditions discharge. Now, what that does is that takes away your benefits.
What?
Yeah.
So that's like the minimum that you did.
Right. Now, in my case, I went from being soldier of the year to soldier of the quarter to general under honorable condition discharge, meaning all of my benefits that I paid into, my educational benefits, have now been snatched away from me.
What about medical and stuff like that?
Now, there is medical to a certain degree here in Genesee County. We have a clinic here. Now, if there's anything wrong with you that the clinic can't do, like i.e. a small surgery, you have a boil or anything like that,
right,
you are now in a position where you have to find you a ride to either the Saginaw VA or the Ann Arbor VA.
There are organizations that help with rides and stuff.
They will give, the VA will give you a ride if, in fact, your appointment is within the time that they're there. Now, if in fact your appointment runs over the time that they're there, you are now responsible for finding you a ride back home.
So they could basically take you to Ann Arbor and leave you?
Yes.
Because you go to Ann Arbor, you in the hospital all day.
Thank you.
All day.
But they're only there for 5 hours. So
at 5:01, you hit.
So imagine you being sick.
Right.
Really sick.
Yeah.
But you don't have a ride back and forth to the doctor. So what do? You sit home and be sick.
And be sick.
Or get sicker.
So none of the regular doctors here take care of you because you're a veteran?
Right. So they say...
Well, they'll take care of you, but there's no insurance, so you got to pay for it.
I.e. my position.
What?
I was sick last year. I could not drive myself to Saginaw or Ann Arbor. I went to Hurley. In 2 weeks, I had a $9,000 medical bill.
Wow.
It's my responsibility.
There was one of my clients that had to have surgery on her retina, and it was emergency surgery. Like now, they couldn't wait until to send her down to Ann Arbor or Detroit or Saginaw, and or she would just go blind. And so I took her to Genesis, and they did say that the VA would pay this because it's emergency. It's right now, you have to do it.
Right.
Well, after it all happened, the VA found in their
loopholes.
Right. That and
we
she
don't have
ended
to
up
pay
with
it.
The loopholes are actually sitting right there on the telephone. So when I call with my issues, they got them right there ready to tell me, hey, listen, my dog died. We're going to have to call you back next week. And it's silly, petty excuses like that. But at the same time, once you've been told no, once you've been told yes, I'll help you, and then you get there and it's no so many times, nobody wants your help.
Keep going through the rejection and
and it's upsetting. It's very upsetting.
So what happened when you found our home transitional?
Well, things started to be different. It started to change. By no means were I wasn't excited at all. I was very apprehensive about new people just coming into my life, coming around me, and
in
just
your space,
in my space. But it wasn't like that. Carrie is a pushy lady. But in a good way.
Right.
I cuss her out. She says, okay, well, I love you. I'll call you back. You can't do people like that.
And now you like, what?
Right.
She missed the point.
I just told you to get out of here.
Right.
But she was pushy to the point where, it was love. It wasn't like, I'm going to get in your business and I'm going to report you. And
right.
It was more of a loving situation. It was more like, I see you need help. I see you're too stubborn to ask for help. So I'm going to just hang around you until you figure out what it is that you want to do. And no matter what I say, she'll say, this is a good idea. Well, no, maybe this is not a good idea. And even, as much as I want to do it, I have to respect the fact that first she's willing to stand up to me and tell me no. And then the fact that she comes with better ideas or, a different way of doing it instead of, everything just being her way.
Finding a way no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't take no for an answer from most people, and I don't like to say no. I always like to try to find a way. If there's a will, there's a way. Well, it's a cliche for a reason, and that's it's important. You have to be flexible, and every individual is different. They're not put together with an instruction sheet,
right?
And that's it. And then, but everybody's individual and has their own issues that need to be addressed and dealt with to help them move forward. And it's not a hand out; it's a hand up.
Right.
And it's let's build together, because I grow tremendously from being a part of these women's lives.
Right.
And it's beneficial to both of us.
We feed off each other, because it's like she knows stuff you don't know, and vice versa. Because my saying is, if you don't know, a lot of people won't tell you.
Right.
You have to figure it out yourself, and then by the time you figure it out, you be like, you could have told me that. And they're like, well, you didn't ask. How can I ask a question I didn't know?
No, right.
Right. Yeah, I'm very inquisitive, and I bring that to the table, and we've always found a way to get things done, and I keep looking and keep searching and keep finding new contacts, new ways, new programs, and like today she gets to go clothes shopping. I got a big donation of clothes, so she's coming to my house after work and go through the clothes and stuff. So, and they're all designer clothes too.
I'd like to give a really big shout out to United Methodist Calvary Church in Swartz Creek and in Flint. These guys and women are a great group of people. They have really helped out with me and Lori. So we love you guys. If you guys are listening, we love you. They helped me out. Once I got in a position to get into a home, Carrie worked really, really hard to help me get into this house. We found some resources to get me a roof, and it's time to pray. Okay. She found me some resources to get me a roof, to get my house painted, to get some plumbing done. Right now, my only issue is I'm trying to get a furnace for my home. It's getting cold outside, so I need a furnace. But Carrie, she works effortlessly
Right.
all the time. Like for myself, for Miss Lori, Miss Lori's had some issues with dealing with her children and things like that, and she just makes it really, really easy for you. It takes a load off. She's like the big sister that I didn't get to get. Well, I have a big sister, but she was so much older than me. We didn't get to spend that much time together. But, she's like a big part of my family. Most of my family doesn't live here in Michigan. So, I call her all the time. Hey, what are you doing? What do you guys eating?
She takes my kids and does stuff with them. And,
I take her kids. Yeah, so it's like she's my big sister. So I trust that whatever she decides for our hometown transitional or for, myself and my sister Lori, that she's going to do the right thing. There's no, doubting what she's about. She's about business.
Right.
So.
And humanity. And
humanity and basically just the love and concern for the human race. Period, point blank. It doesn't matter what you look like, where you come from. She can relate. She can relate.
So you have your own place that's not part of yours because you haven't gotten yours yet.
Well, actually, she has an organization that has been able to help her lease out some homes with, helping Hometown Transitional get started and as well as helping us veterans get in a place to stay that we're comfortable in. Right. And that we can afford at a price that we can afford.
That's the primary.
That's why I don't understand why the government don't pay stuff like that once you get out. It's like you serve your time, but they don't have anything for you when you get out unless you re-enlist.
Unless you re-enlist, or again, unless you have one of those discharges that says,
honorable discharge.
Honorable discharge, and and
anything other than honorable, you don't get anything.
You don't have any benefits. Even the ones that you paid into, the GI Bill is something that I paid into. Right. I paid $1,200 into, and even when the government decided that I wasn't able to use my benefits, I think that my $1,200 should have been refunded to me because that was money that I worked for, that I didn't voluntarily put in there. You voluntarily took it out of my check and told me that's what it was for. So I feel like in that aspect, if in fact
come on with me.
Yeah, if in fact my services are no longer needed, then you should not need my money. You should not need my money, and I just feel like that. If in fact this is a game where you give and you take and you give and you take, at the end nobody should feel used. Right. Nobody should feel used, and
that's a big issue for a lot of our returning, and I think it always has been for returning military, especially since Vietnam. From Vietnam on. World War I and II, I think that was a big difference. Everybody was heroes coming back. And, the economy was different, and a lot of things were different back then.
Well, if we didn't have all this crazy government spending, everybody would be a hero. And you'd have some money because they want to cut benefits for Social Security and everything else because they spent all of our money.
Clearly.
We didn't spend it.
Clearly.
So I tell them I want my money.
Amen.
I know I want mine.
Because some people, they already saying, me as a baby boomer, I'm good. Anybody after that, you may not get any Social Security.
And it's sad that you actually put that out here. And then with my generation, it's like a 50-50. Half of us decided to get out and do what our parents did, work for a living. Right. And then the other half got caught in this the world owes you everything mode, and nobody works. Everybody's collecting this free money, and it's free.
Abusing it. Bridge cards for people that don't need bridge cards, and then they get it and sell it.
It's fraud, waste, and abuse. And in the military, you can be punished. You can go to jail for the same thing that these people are sitting on Capitol Hill doing every single
firing squad. Bring them up, line them up.
They brought that back. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would get their act together. A lot.
Well, they need something to punish them to say, look, this is what's going to happen if you continue to do this, other than punishing us, because it's not our fault that we're almost out of money.
If you read any state's constitution, the 13th Amendment of every state's constitution clearly states that once you are imprisoned, you've given up your right as a citizen, and you now can be enslaved. Yeah. Who wants to go to jail to be a slave? Nobody's reading.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
I don't want to be a slave nowhere. Nowhere.
Just imagine,
and you feel like that when they taking all your money from you. You got to struggle,
Yes,
and if you retired and you don't have any money, you struggling, and then you go down to the welfare office and they be like, no, you got money in the bank. Or sell those tires off that car.
Yes.
Better yet, sell the whole car. And then we'll help you get a hoopty.
Right. after you go through a 6-week
Yeah, because we can teach you how to dry that hoopty.
It's crazy.
That's exactly how it goes.
One of the newest studies that has come out recently, which it's almost apropos, but they did a big study on why there's so many homeless veterans coming back now, and one of the biggest things that they say is because of financial management education. A lot of us, like, I don't remember taking any financial management or learning even how to write a check in high school.
Yeah.
And a lot of our veterans go in after high school. In this day and age, you have a lot that will go, enlist in lieu of going to jail,
Right.
Or
I'll go to the army instead.
right, and so they didn't really have time to build any life skills before
Right.
going in.
Right.
So as an adult, all the skills is military,
Right.
And you come home, and then not only did you have issues before going in because of the abusive life that you've lived, or the drug addiction, or any other kind of issues like that, then you've compounded them with the issues of being in the military, whether you've seen combat or not.
Right.
There are things that occur, especially in combat, and then they come home. You have no financial management skills. No family in the area, or your spouse left, or moved somebody else in, or
Kill them dead.
There's a lot of things that happen like that.
or the women, men don't have to do this. Women have to sign their children over when they go in the military to
Right.
somebody because they're automatically, full custody.
Oh.
So in case they die, something happens, there's have to be somebody that's, so often as well when they come back, those people don't want to give their
Right.
kids back.
Or if the kids are young enough, they may not even know who they are.
Right.
When the parents come back, they're like, no,
Exactly.
there's my mama,
Yep, and it's very hard, and that's according to the Michigan Homeless Coalition. There is over 150, over 150 homeless single female veterans with or without kids in Genesee and the surrounding counties, and those are just the ones that have sought help and indicated that they were veterans.
Yeah, because that doesn't seem like a very high number.
It is a very high number when there aren't 150 beds, but we know the numbers at least double that.
Okay.
When you think of all the issues that are involved in seeking help, if like I said, you have kids, or they tell you to go to the VA or something like that, and you don't get the help, so you go and you lie, and you don't tell them you have kids, or you don't tell them that you're a veteran. And so many of them don't get counted. And the pit counts that occur, point in time counts every January, that's what those the 150 are, and the Genesee and surrounding counties. So that includes Detroit area and stuff.
So
too.
that's just the number of people that have applied for help, because the number could actually probably be like thousands.
Right, just
Okay.
that have applied for help and indicated that they were veterans. So yes, the number could be in the thousands.
Right.
And so we try to catch those numbers in January during the point in time counts, and where the homeless people are encouraged to go to different facilities to be counted. And they're now starting to ask the question, are you a veteran? So technically, according to that, there are only 2 homeless single female veterans in Genesee County itself. I've already helped 7 this year, 8. But
There's only 2.
Right. So, and that's where the government decides where they're going to send their money to.
Right.
As well. So if the point in time counts are only 2, then Genesee County doesn't get looked at for funding.
Like you only got 2.
Right.
And you got 7.
Right. And we know the numbers are higher. So I'm working with My Brother's Keeper, and a few other organizations, Single Veteran Mothers Assistance Program, Our Home Transitional, Pam from the SSVF program, and a few other individuals from UAW and other areas throughout Genesee County. We've come together to create a homeless coalition for homeless veterans in Genesee County. And actually, this Friday is the second meeting. We're planning a stand down in the summer to bring all the homeless in Genesee County and have them be counted, veterans and non-veterans. And it's going to be a huge event. We're going to do it differently than most stand downs are. Most stand downs, there's a buffet that somebody catered, and you go, everybody goes, gets a plate and stuff like that. It's usually like indoors. We're going to do this outside. probably at U of M or somewhere downtown Flint.
Put it on the lawn of City Hall.
That's a great idea. Right.
Yeah, just pop it out there. The mayor got to come outside and say something.
I'll bring it to their attention, to the committee's attention. But yeah, definitely so. And we're gonna have clowns and balloons and games for the kids and volleyball for the adults and big huge cookout and clothes and music, DJ, just maybe bands or something like that. But it's going to be a real inviting,
cover the whole lawn
party, right? To bring,
because I mean he may or may not know what the stats of the veterans are, and he need to be brought aboard because he is the mayor. I always say we have so many empty buildings around here; it's not being used. Everybody can donate a building. Right. I mean, it's so many empty buildings, and it's so many handymen that would probably volunteer to help. They Habitat for Humanity have people that do that, and Disability Network have people that does that. So I mean, it's just no reason for anybody to be homeless or hungry because we have all these places that give out food every day of the week. Amen. And then we have all these other things, and it's like, what is going on? Why am I still seeing people on the street?
Right.
I don't understand it.
Well, and a lot of that too is a lot of people who are on the streets, a big percentage of them have issues that they aren't dealing with, mental issues especially. Yeah. And we need to stop making that such a stigma and scaring people from getting help. Right. Because it's just as important as any physical ailment that you may have.
But they need to be pulled in because just like with CMH, a while when Engler was governor and he closed down all the shelters, so they kicked all the special needs people out into the street pretty much, or else they in the home from 7 in the morning to 7 at night, and then they're just roaming the streets. Right. And a lot of them do have mental issues, but there's no counseling for them because they're just in the streets.
Well, the CMH does have a veteran, a female veteran on staff now to help any veteran really with counseling and any kind of medication that might be needed or diagnosis and so forth. The community, there are a lot of resources in the community that most people don't know about, and especially if you're homeless and you don't have access to radio,
computer,
TV.
You never know.
It's hard to get that. So I think that when we do the pin count in January, one of the big things we need to change is do boots to ground, like get a group of people to go out there to the places where homeless people hang out at night. Right. And because not everybody goes to a shelter.
No, under bridges. They just had that on the news.
It's unfortunate that, they can't go to the shelter.
A lot of shelters are full.
Or by a certain time.
You gotta be out at 7.
Yeah, they no longer accept you in, or
7 to 7.
If you gotta leave at 7 o'clock in the morning and you have absolutely no place to go.
Yeah, we used to get a lot of them at the university because I used to work at U of M, and they'd come in the library to, especially in the wintertime, they'd hang around in the library for warmth, or they hang out in the pavilion downstairs and panhandle. And when Genesee Towers was open, they used to have tons of them that come in there, and it's like they can spend the night at the shelter, but they got to be up at the crack of dawn and back in the streets.
And who wants to be the person to tell them, "Oh, you can't come in here,"
right?
Or, you can't stay in here,
right? The train stations or any of the places that they might go. But people do. I mean, they've got security in a lot of places now that won't let.
And I think that's real inhumane. Like, as long as this person is not in here with a bag full of tools ready to steal the furnace and all the piping out of here, why can't they sleep?
And those are the people driving through your neighborhood. I want to put razor wire on the top of the house. Those are those people you got to watch out for.
Those are not the homeless people doing that. They don't have trucks to go to the scrap yard and steal manhole covers.
Right. When I saw them stealing those, I was cracking up.
Me too.
They said those are 500 pounds a piece.
But my thing is the scrapyard. You knew
that's a manhole cover. Now who has those laying around? Give me $35 for it. Here, you can use a manhole cover.
Right. You wrote that check and gave it to that person.
Exactly. That's why they all getting prosecuted now, because the stuff they changing the law so that the stuff that comes in there, they can't take everything. But stuff like that, I was amazed. Yes. Who writes a check for a manhole cover?
Oh, the check was written out for it?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
This is how they got caught.
Yeah. I was going to say, a lot of people will hide it in with their scrap that gets weighed or something.
The scrapyard, they can't just make this stuff magically disappear. They have to sell it
to get their money back.
Right.
Exactly. So who do you sell that to?
Right. When they got ready to sell it, the person that they were selling to told them, that clearly it says on the top,
City of Flint. And I just ran in that hole. My car is busted up now.
I don't want that.
Right. That's crazy. I just, some of the things people do for money is crazy. Like, now you see a lot of the buildings with the razor wire on the top because they're climbing up there getting
They coming through your
air
roof.
conditioners.
Yes.
And, then they go
Yes.
in houses like 2 streets over from me. They stripped this empty house down, and now it's just an ugly mess. It's a nice house on this side, it's a nice house on that side, and right in the middle, they stripped the siding off as far as they could reach up, like halfway up, like they started at the bottom and started pulling, and just went all the way up.
So they couldn't take them.
Yeah, they as far as they could go up. But then now you got another raggedy house. Somebody could donate. Fix it up, donate it.
Yeah, we do get a lot of calls from folks who have a home that they want to donate, and a couple of times the opportunity has turned out to be real, inviting, and I've got a couple of those in the works right now. But more often than not, there's a lien on it, or past due taxes, or something like that. And it costs money to find that.
Yeah.
To find that stuff out. And we don't have just money to willy-nilly spend. I mean, all of the money that we do have goes directly to our female veterans. So
now when you do get your home and everything, what's the criteria for them to live there, and like, how do they get their money and their help and everything?
Well, they come to us and they do an intake, and basically you need to be a single, homeless female veteran with or without children. If you are single without children, you will come to the main home, which houses between about 25 to 30, depending how we have it set up. It's a huge, beautiful 10-bedroom, 3-story home. The idea is that we're all a family. We all work together. Garden together, and all that. So CMH it's the new center that opened up across the street from CMH. I think it's called Genesee Community Health. It's a free clinic.
Oh, okay.
For anybody can go and get free health care. And I think they even might have dental by now.
Oh, the one on 5th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and but they are looking to donate a passenger-sized van to us. So we're looking forward to that. It's just bureaucracy, you just got to wait till
right
it goes throughout the avenues and channels. But that's the criteria. We will take those that are dishonorably discharged, as long as it's not like a violent crime, where they kill the innocent citizens or something like that,
Oh, you kicking me out? Yeah, I'll take care of you.
But and then there's an action management plan that is set up for each individual, and however long it takes them to work through that action management plan. Some people may take 3 months, 6 months, a year. I'm not pushing anybody out, as long as they're following that plan and doing anything and not just laying on their ass not doing stuff. Then however long it takes, that's how long it takes for you to move out. And once you become self-sufficient and are ready to move out on your own, then you get to move into one of the single family homes that is provided through our sister organization, Single Veteran Mothers Assistance Plan program. If you are a mother, currently right now we don't have the rules and regulations set up for having children in the main home.
Right.
So you'll get into your own home right away and go through the program. And the program with Single Veterans Mothers Assistance it involves once you have completed our transition program and move into your home of your own. You have 2 years to maintain self-sufficiency and continue with other programs like financial management, budgeting, parenting classes, counseling, whatever things that we've come to terms and decided together that you need to continue to be successful. Once that 2 years is over, then they have the option of purchasing that home. During the time they're living there, they're paying rent at a percentage that works into their budget based on their family size, their income, and all those criteria.
Right.
And then they get to purchase the home at the same rate. We help them with the Single Veteran Mother Assistance Program helps them to maintain to obtain a mortgage at an affordable rate. And if for some reason they don't want the home that they were staying in, we will help them, or my sister org will help them find another home within Genesee County that fits into their budget.
Well, it sounds like a master plan, and I hope everything goes well for you. And next year is coming up, and I know by then I saw you guys posted the picture on Facebook. That's a big house, so
it's beautiful.
It's gonna be really nice to get those people in there and help, because it's getting cold and
right. I was really hoping to have the doors open by January, but it all depends on funding. We need to raise the $49,000 to purchase the home, and then of course to have the funding to maintain utilities and operations and all that, throughout the year. And then throughout the year, we'll also be applying for funding for the next year and the next year. And, So we do have a strategic plan for 2014 through 2016. And we just hope that somebody or somebody's come to the table with nice donations that we can actually purchase this house for. It's solid, foundational. It just needs a little bit of cosmetic work.
Right. Gotta be somebody out there with deep pockets.
Right. And want to help our homeless single female veterans. Absolutely.
Right. In fact, want to help veterans all together.
Yes.
And just give you a check and be like, here. Maybe they can even be anonymous if they want to be.
Absolutely. And we do have a donate tab on our website. We do have a online fundraising campaign that will be launching within the next week. It's a 60-day campaign. I'll be posting that on the website as well and on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/ourhometransitional, all one word, or just search Our Space Home, and you'll find it. Or we're on LinkedIn, we're on all the social networks, Twitter, all that. And I always share pertinent information on all those places that primarily for women veterans, but generally for all veterans as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's a lot of information at all those places.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming in today. It's been very informative and
fun.
And I've had a lot of fun because a lot of this stuff I don't know anything about. I've never been in the military. All 4 of my siblings have been in, and I didn't make the cut.
I didn't either. I was going to go in the Navy, but
I wanted to be an Air Force nurse, but then when they told me I had to stick needles, I had to go the other way. I can't give a shot for nothing. I had to call somebody like, come here, can you do this shot for me? I got the rest.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you guys for coming in today.
Thanks so much for having us.
When you get ready to have that big event and you want to come back, just let me know. I'll probably still be around.
Yes, you will.
And hopefully we're going to get with the mayor ahead of time and warn him. Be like, look, we get ready to bombard your lawn.
Actually, you know what? We don't have to. There's an open door policy at the mayor's office every Wednesday morning. So we'll just go Wednesday morning.
Right. That's what I mean. Just tell him, look, we get ready to do this thing on your lawn. So if you just happen to come out and it's about 10,000 people on your lawn, just have no fear.
Right.
Yeah, we love that turnout.
Come on
Absolutely.
in and shake everybody's hand.
Right. Come on, we'll let you take pictures with us. We'll let you. Don't get carried away. It's not your event.
But, I will challenge all of the Flint Police Department and all of the Flint Fire Department, all of the veterans that are on this fire department and on this police force. We need your help. We don't need your physical help. We need your money.
Amen.
So please, every last one of you, if we can get every last police officer and fire officer that is a veteran, $20. Can we just get $20 for our home transitional? It could be $20 a year. It could be $20 a month. We need $20 from every last person.
Take it in quarters too.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I think a good idea for our home transitional would to be have a bottle drive.
Yeah. You can set some bottles up in different places.
Let's have a bottle drive.
Yeah, like those big water jugs where people can put the money in, but they can't take it out.
No. Actually, we will come to your home and pick up your pop cans and your soda bottles and Those are 10 cents for those of you that didn't know. That's 10 cents.
But the thing with the jars will work good too. You know, like I say, I know a lot of people have done that in the past. You can go like to different stores and businesses, you know, different things like that. You get those big plastic water jugs, and that way the money can go in. They can't just take it out, and people will let you do that.
Yeah, and a lot of people will. But you know, a lot of these businesses, they're all about no solicitation. They're all about not being responsible for other people's funds. We tried to do that at a funeral home. You know, we were trying to pay for a funeral for somebody, and unfortunately we didn't have the money. So we asked, can we just put a donation jar inside the funeral home? And you know, when people come in, you know, they just drop a couple dollars in there and that be that. But you know, they didn't want to be responsible for the funds. They didn't want to entice the people of Flint to come in and steal stuff from people. So let's keep our hands in our pockets.
Yeah. Well, they're not all like that. So we can find some people that will actually do it and will be responsible for it.
I think that's a great idea, and I'm definitely going to look into that. I got a board meeting coming up. I'll bring up both of these ideas, and
because some people will donate, and I know like little stores, like little mom and pop stores, where you know will be good instead of like. And then, you know, places like Meyer make donations. You know, you can call them up and like, I want a donation. They'll cut you a check. I mean, I used to do that with PAL program. They cut us a check and we did a little fundraiser, you know. So different places like that will let you do it. And there's nothing better than to have your big old sign and say female veterans. And even like outside of some of the stores, you know, like Walmart let people stand inside the door, and, you know, Target sometimes. But, you know, you find the stores that let you do that.
Absolutely.
And you just sit right inside the door. Great. And people will do that for you.
That's a good idea.
I think if they let them sell Girl Scout cookies, they will allow.
That's what I'm saying. They'll let you do it. Just talk to management, and like with it being winter, you can just sit right inside the door.
Yep.
Get your little table right there.
I would like to add that we are 501c3, so any donations are tax deductible.
Yeah, and you can put that right on the jug. So they know that. You don't have to repeat it every time.
Receipts, I'll write your receipt. I do that with closed donations and all that stuff.
Exactly.
So, yeah, excellent idea.
So anyways, thank you guys for coming in. And it's Flaminpit, and we're going to sign off. But make sure you come back for part 2.